What is an architecture? Can a chair designed by an architect, like the famous Barcelona chair, designed by Mies van der Rohe, be considered as an architecture? My name is Edmund, and before I begin on my polemic entitled The Subject on the Object of Architecture, I would like to inform that the object in question here is architecture, and the subject is the reasoning in my attempt to justify the object of architecture. And hopefully, by the end of this video, we would arrive at a common consensus and collective reasoning based on the polemic that I posit. Of course, if I do not set up a framework or constraint within which we talk about the object that is architecture, one can argue that almost anything can be called an architecture in the contemporary context. For example, in computer science, a computer architecture means a set of rules and methods that describe the functionality, organization, and implementation of computer systems. Hence, I would like to direct the audience's attention toward architecture in the sense of the built environment. Therefore, my polemic today is that, in my opinion, architecture is a purposeful solution, or more specifically, a purposeful creative solution to specified habitational needs in the form of a built space. Therefore, all the thought processes, the learning processes, the conception of ideas, right up to the realization of such spatial solution, can be considered architecture, albeit in different forms and stages. That is to say, an edifice designed by an architect in drawn plan before construction or still in construction are also forms of architecture, so long the intention of reaching a specified habitational need by the end of the construction stays true. Let us get back to the Barcelona chair, which I consider clearly as a furniture but not an architecture, because it does not address a specified habitational need within it. Furnishing is the act of enhancing the built space. It is not architecting in and of itself, but rather its noun form furniture means fittings that are required for a particular task or function. If architecting as a profession means to design and configure spaces, then architecture is the act to design and configure spaces. And to design is to solve a specified problem creatively. To put it in simple analogy, I would like to compare a bank, a house, and a sculpture from the perspective of a banker, the profession. The architecture of a bank allows a banker to carry out specific duties, among others, within the built space. When the banker returns home from work, the architecture of the house serves specified personal shelter needs of the banker as a home dweller, and it contains furniture in it. However, when the banker visits a sculpture during his free time, the sculpture functions merely as an expression of art. He can see it, feel it, touch it, and admire it, but this art does not permit a habitable space within. But what about a massive bridge designed by an architect? I would like to argue that the bridge itself is much like a chair designed by an architect. If the chair is a furniture, then the bridge is an infrastructure, both of which were not in the intention of the designer, in this case the architect, to permit habitation within its space. But if there were to be a house or a bank designed in the form of a bridge, then, by virtue of the original purposefulness of such a structure, it is indeed an architecture. To end this video, I hereby put forth a summary of my argument, which, in my opinion, would suffice, is that when a sculpture is being made, it is not in the mind of the sculptor that a person inhabits within it. However, the opposite is true for architecture, where careful consideration has been made to enable habitation through the knowledge of art and science. Thank you.